Hey, good morning, guys. Once again, it's the chairman. I know it's been a while, but I am back, and I have a review on some things I've gotten, some things I've watched, and some music that I wanted to go over with you. And so today, well, obviously, as you can see, I have the Ten Commandments on, and I got it in a couple days ago, and just started watching a little bit. And so obviously, this is the new 4K restoration that came from Paramount just in time for the Passover and Easter holidays. Obviously, ever since the Ten Commandments started to be broadcast on TV, it has traditionally been shown over the Easter weekend. And I've probably watched this a bunch of times whenever it's been on TV, but obviously never looking like this, never in this kind of quality. And actually, I was kind of surprised. I thought this was widescreen. But it's Panavision, photograph in Panavision, and in Technicolor. So it's a full frame, and actually I like it that way because it takes up the whole screen, and you don't lose any screen area because of that. But yeah, so far I've only started watching a few minutes, but it's as good as everyone says it is. It looks amazing, as should be expected from a all-time epic classic such as the Ten Commandments. I'm going to hope that a film like this has had its negatives and other elements preserved very well, and obviously it's translated beautifully to 4K, and so it's also really good price too. It was $19.96 finally on Amazon, and I think that's a really good deal for a film like this. It's 3 hours and 39 minutes, and it comes with the 4K. And also, it has the film on DVD. Sorry, they film on Blu-ray on 2 Blu-ray discs with special features on both Blu-rays. So even if just for the 4K itself, I would definitely recommend getting that. In terms of purchases, the only thing I've gotten in recently, actually since it's been a while, so I may be forgetting something, but I'm pretty sure this is the only one that I have received since last time. It is the Streetfighter collection on Shout Select. This was the Shout Select, part of the Shout Select sale. I chose not to get anything else because I didn't really want to force myself to spend up to $50 just to get the free shipping. And this is something that I've been wanting to get because ever since Sonny Chiba and Street Fighter came back to popularity with the help of Quentin Tarantino and True Romance and other films, I had bought the old Street Fighter collection, and I'm trying to remember. I think it was actually on VHS, to be honest. The 3 films, Street Fighter, Return of the Street Fighter, and the Street Fighter's Last Revenge. And I think I had it on VHS, or maybe very very early DVD, but I don't have it anymore. So if it was DVD, I should have had. If it was DVD, I would have it, so I'm pretty sure it's VHS, and it got lost through the hands of time. So I'm really glad to pick up this again on Blu-ray. They're 2K scans, and I haven't watched it yet, so I'm looking forward to it. So because I'm assuming it's going to look great, based on everything that I've seen from Shout Select and just how good you can get old 1970s films to look through 2K restoration. So definitely looking forward to seeing that. I've been kind of going through and trying to watch stuff that I bought previously, and speaking of also from Shout Select, this was the Deer Hunter, which I think came out last year. I bought this last year. I hadn't got around to watching it until now. And the Deer Hunter is an interesting film because even though it did win Best Picture in 1978, Best Supporting Actor for John Savage, I feel like this film has kind of lost a little bit of luster in the pantheon of both that era, that early era of Vietnam War films, as well as Best Picture winners overall. I don't think anyone really ranks the Deer Hunter very high as a really great Best Picture winner. I think there probably were better films that came out that year. You could argue that Close Encounters was a better film from 1978. Hell, you could even say Superman was a better film overall. I think the film has some issues in that it's not really a Vietnam film. It feels rather inauthentic very little of it is set in Vietnam, and it's really more about the friendship of the three main characters, but also the other people around them. Uh, Mike played by Robert De Niro, Nick played by Christopher Walken, and Steven played by John Savage, and how the three of them are friends in their small town. They're steel workers in Pennsylvania. They go deer hunting together, and then they all volunteer and go off to Vietnam. And one of the things I felt was not really very accurate was how they all ended up together in Vietnam. That's really unlikely to have occurred in reality, and the whole thing with the Russian roulette having since been debunked as a thing that could have ever occurred during Vietnam, I think kind of drags the movie down. I mean, I understand the atmosphere that Cimino was trying to create. He was going more for the feeling of, I guess, loss and just depression and just not really having anything to look forward to, and Nick kind of feeling like with the Russian roulette, his life is no longer in his hands. It's in the hands of probability, and therefore whatever happens to him, he has no responsibility for it. So yeah, I haven't watched the rest of it. I mean, I've watched the Deer Hunter before, but it was a long time ago. So I've been kind of skimming through it because it is a long film. It's 3 hours and 3 minutes. And but yeah, the feeling I'm getting is that it's not really ranking very high in terms of that early era of 1970s Vietnam films, such as Coming Home and Apocalypse Now, and also amongst Best Picture winners in what was arguably a really great decade of films, probably the greatest decade of films, the 1970s. So that's that for films. In terms of music, I really had to complete my 1980s Bruce Dickinson Iron Maiden collection, and what better one to complete that with but 1982's Number of Beasts, which was Bruce Dickinson's debut album with Iron Maiden, and the 1983 follow-up, Peace of Mind. And both of these albums, I mean, I've listened to them in some form or another many times, but just I've never owned them. And so there's really not a bad song on any of these. You got Invaders, so on Number of the Beast, you got Invaders, Children of the Damned, The Prisoner, which is of course based off of the classic British TV show, The Prisoner, 22 Acacia Avenue, which is the address of a well-known or infamous brothel, Number of the Beast, of course, Run to the Hills, Gangland, Hallowed Be Thy Name, and then on Peace of Mind, we have Where Eagles Dare, Revelations, Flight of Icarus, sorry, Diary with the Boots On, The Trooper, Still Life, Quest for Fire, Sun and Steel, and To Tame a Land. So, really, like I said, not a bad album, sorry, not a bad song on either of these albums. And the Peace of Mind is actually a rare fold-out, gatefold, I should say. Iron Maiden doesn't have a lot of gatefolds, but this is one. And so on the inside, you have a picture of the band, and then on this side is the song lyrics. So you got that. In terms of things I've ordered, I picked up Conan, the Conan collection from Amazon. That was just I just jumped online one day and said, hey, I wonder what sales Amazon has, and I saw that they had it, so I grabbed that. Also at the same time, because I was kind of in the mood for the early 80s medieval fantasy stuff, I got Kroll for $7 and Excalibur. So I've never had Kroll on any form of physical medium. I watched it. It was like the first film I ever watched on HCTV, and I was just like amazed at how great it looked. Because, you know, if you've just been watching VHS stuff and TV stuff, you know, watching something in HD is like a revelation. So I'm really looking forward to getting that into my collection. I never had Conan. I've never had the Conan films. Obviously, watched those a bunch of times. I watched Conan the Destroyer in the theater. I saw that before I saw the Conan the Barbarian. And Excalibur, obviously all-time classic. I have that on DVD. It's an ancient DVD. It's like a paper. It's like the paper case with like the snap clip on it. So yeah, that I put that away, and I'm looking forward to getting the Blu-ray on the Blu-ray edition of that. So that hasn't come yet. Batman vs Superman Ultimate Cut 4K is supposed to come today. I know a lot of other people, their copies are delayed, so I guess I'm kind of lucky to have gotten it, or to be getting it relatively quickly. So definitely looking forward to watching that. And kind of one thing I wanted to start doing was going back through my CD collection and just re-exploring and rediscovering bands that I've liked. And one of the bands that I feel kind of exemplifies the connection between heavy metal and the geekosphere, if you want to say, is a band called Iced Earth. And they're kind of the spiritual successors to Iron Maiden, in the sense that a lot of their stuff is influenced by popular culture, by geek interests such as comic books, sci-fi, fantasy, horror. And as you can tell, it extends to their album covers, because you have this album cover, and clearly that's Spawn, and the album cover is Spawn, drawn by Tom McFarlane. And inside is just, oops, the cover art again. And this album of theirs, Horror Show, which is, every song is based on a classic horror movie, and so it's a double album. Sorry, it's actually a double CD, I should say. And so inside of that, you see you got, I think you got like Jack the Ripper, Dr. Jekyll, and so they have songs like Wolf, Damien, Jack for Jack the Ripper, Goose of Freedom, Imhotep, obviously from The Mummy, Jekyll and Hyde, Dragon's Child, Frankenstein, Dracula, and the Phantom Opera Ghost. I don't know why they just don't call it the Phantom of the Opera, but that's what they're calling it. And the lead singer of Iced Earth, he's named John Schaefer, and he and the lead singer of my other favorite band, Blind Guardian, Hansi Kusch, they're both, as Rob would say, they both park their shuttlecraft in the same shuttle bay, and so the two of them get together, and every once in a while they record an album under the name Demons and Wizards. And so clearly you know where they're coming from if they call their band Demons and Wizards. And so it's kind of like a meld between Iced Earth and Blind Guardian, power metal, and yeah, what's not to love about that? This is a double album of theirs called The Glorious Burden, and it is a military war-themed album. And of course, that's another thing that you get with these bands, and as well as with Iron Maiden, is that you get a lot of songs influenced by war and military history. And so the first disc is just based off of different eras and periods in military history. So they have the Star Spangled Banner, Declaration Day, when the Eagle Cries, The Reckoning. You got a song about Attila the Hun, The Red Baron, Valley Forge, Waterloo, and then so the second disc is a concept album based entirely off the Battle of Gettysburg. And so yeah, you know, you can't get more metal than that, to have a concept album based entirely off of the Battle of Gettysburg. And so there's another album, there's Something Wicked This Way Comes, obviously based off of the Ray Bradbury novel. And this other album is called Days of Purgatory, and clearly you get the influence there, because that is straight from a comic book. In fact, I think the comic is actually called Purgatory. And let me see the artwork. Who drew this? Why am I not getting? Oh, Jim Ballant and Jason Jensen, and it's Purgatory, published by Chaos Comics. I got no idea if they're still around or not, but this was from 1997. So, yeah. So if you're interested in kind of feeling your metal and geekosphere interests, Iced Earth is definitely a band I'd recommend. I think they're still around. I mean, obviously they've been recording and releasing albums for over 20 years now, 25 years probably. So yeah, give them a listen, and I'll check in later with you guys once I've received BVS and given that a watch.